I'm sorry, I'm just really sick still. My nose is just running and my eyes haven't stopped watering since last night, funnily enough, although I haven't felt sick in a few days. Listen, I'm fine, you're fine, we're gonna get over this, we're gonna get through this, and it's not a big deal. This was actually a really good year for the Leafs. You know, all the kissing and all the licking and all of the fights and the suspensions in this series, it all fizzles down to one game, one elimination game for both teams. And it surprisingly had none of the usual antics, or at least less of them. So last night after this game, I wrote down a few notes just so that it would still be fresh in my mind when I woke up what I wanted to say. Well, I have pages and pages that I want to get through. I'm gonna try and cut it shorter than I have here because I'm assuming this would create a video that is at least an hour long. Where else could I start but with Jake Gardiner? Listen, I don't want to rip him, okay? I'm a Leaf fan. If Jake Gardiner does good, if Jake Gardiner, who is a Leaf, does good, then my team does good. I want him to succeed. I have nothing against him. But you can't ignore the facts, whether you love him or you hate him. There are just some certain facts about Game 7 that he was not very good. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say the entire game was on him. Of course, we play as a team, we lose as a team. But I really hope after last night that we never have to lose as a team with Jake Gardiner. I'll talk about him a little bit more in depth later on, but let's just get to this game and not point fingers, except for that's exactly what we're doing. The one really good thing about this game was that Kapanen finally got his goddamn goal, his breakaway goal, and it was beautiful, and the Leafs were doing so good until the second period. We were leading, actually. We were leading 4-3. Now, I'm sure you've heard this already, and everyone thinks it, but both teams did not play to a playoff standard, I don't think. No, I don't think that Anderson played his best game this game, but I also don't think that Tuukka Rask did either. So what happens when you have two teams that have not so great goaltending, okay? You can either do what the Leafs did and collapse, your defense cannot handle what the other team is throwing at you, or you can do what the other team did, the other team that will remain nameless, Boston. You can do what they did and rally around your goalie and say, you know what, I got you. I know how you usually bail us out, so we're going to bail you out tonight. That's what I wanted from the Leafs this game, and that's what we definitely did not get. Tuukka Rask had like 4 goals on 18 shots or something, and Anderson had 3 goals on, I don't know if it was like 24 or something. Rask was playing worse. I don't know why we didn't capitalize on that. This game feels like 5 years ago all over again. And here's the thing about Anderson, okay? Even though he didn't play the best in this Game 7, he was the only reason we were in Game 7. He bailed us out in every single win before this, taking 40 shots and still winning the game. Okay, I'm looking through my notes again. I have a hell of a lot on Jake Gardiner, but I'm going to leave him till the end because I have quite a lot to say on him. Okay, so here's another question. Where were our top guns? Where were our franchise players or player? You could tell me that Austin Matthews had the most shots of our series. You could tell me whatever you want, whatever stats you want, but he was a no-show in Game 7, and we needed him. Marner had to be one of the best players in this game and this series and this year. Now, when it comes to Frederik Andersen, I thought he looked slow in net. The first few minutes of the first period, he looked like himself, but after that, it didn't look like Frederik Andersen playing. And you have to wonder, now that we're out, who's been playing with injuries and maybe a concussion. And I know that sounds crazy, like they wouldn't let him do that, but maybe he doesn't even know. You saw him get hit in the head the other night and he didn't go off, but he did look shaken. So maybe this slow reaction is something coming from that. But despite that, he still let in a ton of goals that should have been easy stops. Shots where he had a clear view of the puck and it still somehow trickled in. Although goddamn, did you see that save he made? Like where he looked back and, oh. So I keep on asking these questions a lot, but what do you get in Game 7 when your goaltender is having a bad night, okay? Plain and simple. Your defense is collectively having the worst game of their lives. Your offense can't get anything going, and you're playing a team with more knowledge in the playoffs, more experience, and to be honest, some of the best players in the league. Well, you get exactly what happened last night. When we had that 4-3 lead, we had 30 minutes total of hockey to play before we could win Game 7 and move on to the second round. When I saw that, I was like, we are so done. We cannot hold on for 30 minutes. Can I just say that Hyman never stopped grinding? He has shown me this playoff series that he is one of my favorite players now. If not, he was before, but now it's just cemented it in my mind. He was just amazing this series. I thought Marner played his heart out every single night, and my God, what he can do with the puck is amazing. And now here's the part that you guys have been dreading if you're Gardiner fans. Jake Gardiner. What can I say that already hasn't been said, and probably by me? You guys know that I have never ever liked his type of hockey. Listen, I don't want to rag on him because I know everyone is right now. Everyone's writing articles about how he ruined the game. Even himself did an interview where he said that most of the loss was on him and that he played the worst game of his life. And I'd have to agree with him, but I don't want to harp on him because I know he must be feeling horrible. Rightfully so, but he must be feeling horrible. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the entire loss was on Jake Gardiner, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he played well or even all right. A lot of times I've heard people defend him by saying, oh, well, Anderson wasn't on his game tonight, obviously. Look, he let in a goal that shouldn't have been let in. Well, Anderson was slow to react to a lot of plays that he should have had and in turn let in a bunch of easy goals. I can guarantee you that Jake Gardiner was on the ice for most of them and probably had, in large part, something to do with them. I felt that Gardiner was playing a step behind last night. Even physically, he was pinching when he shouldn't have been and not paying attention to the play so that when it happened, it seemed he was getting caught and he wasn't fast enough because he was not paying attention to what was happening. Gardiner was a -5 on the night, and not only was Anderson in for 6 goals, but there was also an empty netter scored, which Gardiner was also on for. He stuck out for all of the wrong reasons for me, and I have written here that at this point in time, I am done with him. It was a very emotional night. I've been done with him multiple times, and I've come back to being okay with him, but I don't think that this will heal. In 2 Game 7 games, 5 years apart, the same player can be responsible for the demise of the team. Sorry, in large part responsible for the demise of the team. Gotta get that in there. I've never personally had any confidence in how Jake Gardiner plays, and the fact that he is a top defenseman for the Leafs has never made sense to me. I think that we need to finish our rebuild, and to do that, we need to get rid of the guys who were here 5 years ago who continue to choke year after year. And that's hard for me because you guys know I love Bozak, you guys know I love JVR. But I think it's time. But hear me out, okay? That's not to say that Gardiner won't play better somewhere else and won't be a better fit somewhere else, just like we've seen multiple times with Leaf players. That's something I find that the Leafs have never really done well. They take a player who shouldn't be playing that high up in the lineups or in the pairings, and they play him there. We saw that with Dion Phaneuf being our top guy for how many years, my God. We saw that with Phil Kessel. He was so unhappy to be in the spotlight. The media was horrible to him every single friggin' week. He gets traded away. He goes to Pittsburgh. Like I've seen in that little documentary thing, instead of being the guy, he becomes one of the guys. And I think it suits him so much better over there. He's not in the spotlight anymore. He's playing a role that he was made to play. And he's not trying to be this franchise player. He's just trying to help out the team, and he does it so well. He wasn't the uncoachable monster that everybody made him out to be. And let me tell you, I want that for Jake Gardiner. I honestly do. He's only 27. I think he can make an impact on another team. I think he just needs to find a spot on a team where he is not the most relied upon defenseman. Gardiner played 24 minutes last night, and I know that Riley got hurt, so we had to play a little bit more. The only player who played more than him was Hainsey. And you could argue that, yes, we could just get a better defenseman and drop him down in the ranks so that he's not the most relied upon, but I really think that his time with us is over. Just please give him a fresh start. Or else every Game 7 we get into, he's going to think about all the Game 7s he's ruined, and he's going to choke again. And that's okay, and I honestly think that he will find a spot that fits him. Now, this was quite possibly the worst game of his career, definitely the worst game of his life so far. 5 years ago, it was Jake Gardiner who gave away the puck to Bergeron, who scored in overtime to win Game 7. 5 years later, again, it's Jake Gardiner who is the talk of the town after this Game 7 loss. And I will say nobody played great last night on the Leafs, but nobody played worse than Jake Gardiner. Now, this is going to be a shocker. I'm not even going to talk about the refs much. I thought that both sides were just allowed to fight it out on the ice, basically, and it wasn't even the non-calls or the calls that were killing us. It was us. We self-imploded. But where we are demoralized by a loss, there is still light. 3 years ago, we were last in the league. We decided to rebuild, and with that rebuild, we were warned that there would be pain. But this is a new kind of pain that I can handle. See, I was a fan of the Leafs when year after year of mediocre play, we would somehow miss the playoffs, fall not just a little bit short, but a lot short, but not be low enough to get a good pick. The prospect of sucking year after year and just staying where you are was pain. That was pain. This is a different type of pain. For the past 3 years, there's been purpose. Tank for Austin Matthews, year 1. Make the playoffs, year 2. Make the playoffs, but better this time, year 3. Well, even though we didn't make it to the second round, I'm here to assure you that this pain is not like a knife in the heart like it used to be when we missed the playoffs. This pain is a different type of pain. This is the pain where you lift a weight and you can feel your muscles ripping, but you know you're going to be stronger for it. This is the burn you feel knowing that next year you're going to come back and this weight isn't going to seem so heavy anymore. See, that I can take. Like I've said before, this team has given us something that previous teams have not been able to do, and that is hope. Hope that one day I'll see the Leafs win a Stanley Cup before I die. So that is it. The Leafs season is over, and that means it is off season for me when it comes to hockey. If you didn't know, I also do baseball videos specifically for the Jays, as well as some other little hockey videos throughout the summer that I don't really have time to do during the year. This was my first year covering the playoffs, and I had so much fun doing it. This was the first time I've done like 7 game reviews in a row, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully next year I'll be covering the playoffs well into May. I've got some fun videos planned, like drawing logos and drawing players, and also a few little other things that you guys might be excited about, so if you're at all interested in that, make sure you stick around. And I look forward to talking Leafs with you guys in the fall. I'll see you then.